Hey, it's Ben from Riversurf Lab, and today I'm going to do a review of the Air'N Skim 4.4. This is a teeny board. Not only is it only 4.4 long, it's only 3/4 of an inch thick. It is super thin. There is almost no volume to this thing. It comes in at 9.8 liters. If you ever needed to be convinced that good river waves don't require a lot of volume, this is the proof of that. I weigh about 160 and this board will surf fine as long as the wave is fast and steep enough. Because of its size, it shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone that this board is best suited for waves where you can acid drop or step onto the board directly without having to paddle to catch the wave or pop up on it. I would have a hell of a time trying to do either of those things on this board just with it being so small and so low volume. Now, of the waves that I have surfed on this board, and those include Pueblo, Scout, River Run Park, I found that this board needs a pretty steep wave. It's got quite a bit of tail rocker, which makes it significantly slower than some of my other boards. And waves like Pueblo Spillway wave tended to be a little bit too flat for this board this year. It required a lot of pumping to stay on it, as well as Scout, especially early 2024 season when it was pretty flat. This board was way too slow. And even River Run Park, unless it was kind of at its best levels, this board just felt a little bit too slow for those waves. When the waves get really good, so City Wave or Scout at high water, you'd think this board would be great, but unfortunately, because it's got such thin rails that are actually sharp all the way around, it can't really hold a rail if you're pumping across a steep wave. It tends to just want to slide out. All the water just releases off these sharp rails. And so I found Scout at high water, when I'd go to make a turn and pump to go towards the other shoulder, this board would just want to slide out on me. It really needs a wave that is steep, but not too tall, and probably not too wide either, not something where you're doing a bunch of pumps across the steep face. The only wave that I found really suited this board well was River Run Park on wave 6 when it was at the best level. So when it was kind of the tallest and steepest, which is not very tall, kind of like waist high, and fairly steep though, but not very wide. This board worked great. There wasn't a lot of pumping across the face being done. It was mostly just going rail to rail back and forth. On that wave, at those flows, this board is a ton of fun. It makes great turns, it spins, it's a blast. All the other waves, not really worth it. It just feels a little bit too slow, and yeah, I just didn't enjoy it. As far as skill levels goes, I think this really makes the most sense for intermediate, maybe even advanced river surfers or better, people who really want to get into doing maybe more spins and really enjoy the skim shape or the wake surf shape. This might be pretty good for them. If you're a beginner looking for a board that's nice and short, I would probably take a look at the Catch Surf 54 Special. That's a good beginner board that's nice and short, but is much more forgiving and user-friendly than this board. If you're considering getting an Air'N Skim, you should also take a look at the Lib Tech Hydro Snapper. And this is the one that I hydro snapped in half. But this board is very similar. This is a 4.5, so 1 inch longer. Very similar shape, but it's got a lot less tail rocker. And that lower tail rocker means that it can surf way more waves than the Air'N Skim. I found this board fun at Pueblo, the new Spillway wave. I found this fun at Scout at a lot of different levels, as well as when it was flat early this season. And it'll also surf River Run Park at, non-ideal levels, the lower flows on wave 6. So between these two boards, I really prefer this one just because it has so much more versatility than the Air'N Skim. The Air'N Skim does feel like it performs a little bit better when the conditions are just right, but it's so rare that I'm surfing exactly those conditions on that one wave that usually I'm preferring this board. And even though this board did snap in half, I think I'm going to get another one of these and probably get rid of this Air'N Skim. Very similar, but I prefer the Hydro Snapper. Thanks for watching this review, and if you've tried this board or the Hydro Snapper, let me know what you thought of them in the comments. Thanks.